like there was a Nepali woman whose like nude photos were uploaded like on maybe on Facebook or like some other like websites by a Nepalese like man, but like who are now living in Australia. So like the woman tried to like seek some like legal solutions or technical solutions to take down that photos, definitely because it's a huge like privacy infringement case, right? But like it was so complicated because like definitely it's a cross-border like legal cases, so there should be like legal like Nepalese like police, Nepalese like legal enforcement, Australian police, Australian legal enforcement, all should be engaged together, right? But like still like in Asian countries, I think not only in Asian countries as well, but like in all over the world, still this kind of like legal mechanism and legal system has not been like implemented to like govern all these kind of like complicated legal issues. So like usually in this kind of cases, like cease and desist letters are usually sent, right, to stop those kind of like illegal activities. But and also like injunctive, like preliminary injunction, those kind of like orders can be delivered by the courts. So that should be the case for this kind of cases as well. But the problem is like which law enforcement will give that kind of like rulings, and like how these kind of like rulings can be delivered and can be really brought into the action, right? In Hague, like there's some like study groups as well, which are trying to develop like some like legal system, new kind of like legal system, new kind of like legal mechanisms to deal with all this like conflicts of law and like choice of like jurisdiction. So like there's something happening, and like I know that like there's so many like legal scholars who are just trying to solve these issues. So like Internet and Jurisdiction, based in France, they're also like holding like their own conference right now in Canada to try to deal with this like problem, right? So but I also think that this kind of problems cannot be solved by some kind of like legal development. I think it should be also dealt with in like technical communities as well. Event like this, like APRICOT or like APNIC, APRIGF, like APSIG, those are all like important venues to talk about all these issues, because it's not only about like technical like talks, it's also about like policy talks, right? So I think the collaboration between like two like communities is still important.